we had the Sim Expo 2025 out in Dortmund, Germany this weekend, and it looked pretty awesome. I think Patrick, I think there's some pretty cool things that they brought to the table, and I think we're going to sit and we're
A
going to
lot
talk
of
a little bit
them.
about that. Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about those little pieces that kind of came to the table. I think all of us sim racers are excited about. Yeah, so let's get to it. Patrick, what did you think was the coolest thing you saw?
Yeah, it was the BDH active shifter. Honestly, like
Yeah,
by far the most interesting thing.
yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that was the huge piece of news out of there was that BDH shifter, and I don't know, it looked pretty cool. You could swap between even different cars and how it felt when it shifted. That was pretty sick.
I also still find it amazing that we went from a point where you were happy for an direct drive wheelbase and let's call it an active wheelbase. Then we got what pedals 2 years ago, and now we are getting to point of active shifters, wondering where that will go next.
Right? It's I think the cool thing with that was it even showed the clutch lockout. So you didn't have the clutch pushed in, you can jam it in. Come on, you couldn't do that a couple years ago at all.
Yeah, like that's the point where it actually really got me. Like I want that shifter. I really would want it, honestly. Just when
But
I saw exactly the shift lockout, but
true,
yeah,
but at the
there's an
price
issue
point,
with that.
at 1,700 pounds, and just for call it North Americans, we're talking over $3,000. Pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
it
I
is a
think it's
lot.
worth it.
You know, I don't know. It's not even if you want to do a professional esports or anything because you really won't use it there. It's just if you want a real experience, which at this point with all the active stuff and so on, it might be easier to get a car. I don't know. It's right on the edge now.
I will say this, my biggest and favorite thing was the SimLab DDX wheelbase with the built-in power brick. I can't believe that. And then all the other things on top of it, like a 24-bit encoder. They had the USB pass through. That quick release mechanism looks really cool. It's a good looking
It
piece of
is
hardware.
very different to every other quick release as well, I would say.
Yeah,
No one really has anything like that.
it's different in not only in the quick release side, but the power brick it goes in the
Yeah.
wheelbase. Come on, that's pretty sick.
I wouldn't expect you to have this much problem with it because I know that you are 3D printing a lot of stuff to the rig to actually attach it and not leave it on the ground somewhere, unlike me.
True, but at the same time too, to not worry about it when you're building a rig, not have to plan of where to route the cable and where to mount that power brick. It's even to leave it next to your rig. So the fact you don't have to even deal with it, pretty cool. We're in the era of 30 Newton meters of wheelbases. That's insane.
Yeah, I think it's the most I have seen anywhere at this point. Like nothing is getting even close, not even the newest SimCube. And unlike the SimCube, this at least has the USB pass through, which is, quite a big upgrade, I would say.
Yeah, and what's that? The DDX is 40 Newton meters, getting close to it.
It's 39 if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, at the end of the day, Newton meters aren't a huge deal, but I think it's the ability to have that detail and that fidelity. You're only going to get that
Yeah,
with.
exactly. Like I can't imagine that I would be using my wheelbase at anything over 12 Newton meters. So yeah, that's not even close to the lower end, the 26 Newton meter, but still definitely it's the fidelity. It's the fact that when there's more space to go, it just can help you at some points with the big slides and so on.
Well, and just the execution of those smaller forces, it can do it so much quicker, better, and it has such range.
Only thing I'll actually say is that it's at least a bit disappointing is that I haven't seen it like it didn't have the USB hub unlike something like Fanatec has on the back of the wheelbase, which is slightly disappointing, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say it's been interesting to see the differences between SimiCube, SimMagic, SimLab, and even Asetek. All the small differences that they bring to the table of how they deal with third-party steering wheels or peripherals. So some
Yeah, it's
don't.
nice to see that at least most of the companies are still very open to the USB standard and just trying to keep this going. So you don't need to buy a new wheel or anything when buying a new wheelbase. That's actually really nice.
Yeah, I think exactly that. Like you want to be able to use all the different piece parts that you've had over the couple of years that you've built the rig, and you want to make it easy to put something new in it, right?
Yeah, mainly when at this point you already most likely, or at least if you're looking at these kind of wheelbases, you most likely already spent so much money on the rims and so on, and it just wouldn't be nice to basically throw them away because you can't use them anymore like you wanted or like you are used to.
Yeah. But coming back to kind of the brands on the table, I think Sim Magic was interesting to see their ultra wheelbase. They got or their ultimate, I should say. They got their P700 pedals. I think they kind of needed that a little bit, and then got that what looks to be pretty slick new Formula wheel. You were talking more about it earlier.
I already had a friend of me telling me like he would really want that wheel. Like that's probably a thing that drives him towards the Symmetric mostly now. And there is also one thing that wasn't really shown anywhere, but the screen on the wheel, like the normal touch screen. You can actually just unclip it from there. It's magnetically connected with the pins, and you can just throw it on the front of the normal wheelbase.
What? I didn't
Their
see that
ultimate
part.
wheel. Yeah, you can actually just take it off and throw it onto another, like just on the front. Basically, it's a detachable screen on there. And
Oh, that's
if I'm not
slick.
mistaken, yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, it should be fully sim hub accessible, which is also amazing. Like they are not keeping it to their own software as it was with their previous wheels.
That's impressive. I gotta say, like, okay, so you want to like go do some rally or just like throwing a round rim and you still want the dash? Like, boom, done.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Oh, that's
That's
slick.
the best idea about it. Yeah, like they are trying to both open their ecosystem up to all the possibilities you would want to do with them, and they are also, leaving the option to use their quick release and so on with the normal USB pass through as well. So they are like really being nice to everyone.
Yeah, I think you made a good point like that. Their new quick release with the USB pass through, they're like unclipping the Sim Hub part of it all. Like they've really done a good job. And then even their software and all the different piece parts of their ecosystem, like I say Sim Magic's getting really good. Like they got a good amount of wheels from like super kind of on the low end side to super high end. Now you got, I think, a good range of pedals, good range of bases, and then like even their
They
handbrakes.
also
Like,
have shifters, yeah,
yeah,
handbrakes. Like they are really doing great, I would say.
yeah,
They're like one of the best companies now for me.
yeah. When I've tried the hydraulic handbrake, one of my customers wanted to pick one up, so we got that all installed, and it's a nice upgrade above the TB1 that they have, just the regular one. Even their shifters, like they got the sequential, they got the um, they got the sequential and the 6 speed, and it looks like they got more
Yeah.
coming. So I think some Magic's a good bang for your buck and good value if you want to invest in like a ecosystem.
Yeah, also now with, as you said, that new wheelbase, which is supposed to be, I think, like 25 Newton meters or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty
Which,
crazy.
if it keeps around the same, not really price point, but same value for money as all the other new Evo wheelbases, it's probably one of the best like high-end wheelbase you could get in that way.
Yeah, I think some Magic's it's a good place to. But coming actually back to another set of brand that I was honestly a little threw me off a little bit, which was the Fanatec podium pedals. They got their new wheelbase, and they just like it was like, okay, finally, welcome back, guys.
Yeah, it took them, I don't even remember how long. Like they didn't. How long was it since the last pedals? I think I'm the one that had like the last pedals, and they are already in the storage for God knows how long.
It's probably been at least 5 years, if not more.
Yeah, I think the most important things really were for me the pedals and the new wheelbase that's releasing now, which I'm really happy they are doing it, but I don't know. I'm just worried it might be just a bit too late for them at this point.
Yeah, I guess it'll kind of be interesting to see how they progress over the next year and whatnot. And I'll be honest, my biggest thing is support. Once you have sold something, it's fine, but you got to have the support behind it. And I'd say most of the sim
Yeah, if
racing
I'm
brands are
not
pretty good with that. So
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was always like the biggest problem for Fanatec. It was always the customer support and it taking them so long to react and basically do anything. Which, yeah, I had my experience with it as well. Like it's not the best. It's definitely not the best. It's maybe better now, under the new management. But
well, and I'd say also
I
the
still
new
don't
new
know.
hardware. Like, well, you need new hardware too. You need a new supply chain of how you manage this stuff, processes, that type of stuff. So hopefully, it's a good new starting point, and it was nice to see at least their stuff was there, well received, and looked pretty cool.
Yeah, like I would just mention the pedals a bit because I like the fact that they are selling both like the three pedal version and the two pedal version. Like, if you are just doing formula stuff, it's more helpful for you to actually have the different face plates and the different heel rests they are actually putting on there, which is good.
Yeah, it was nice to see like a little bit of a different style of pedals too, compared to some of the rest. Difference in
And it had
how you
some
put it.
like nice features you really haven't seen on any other pedals. For example, the fact that you can just change where the bite point on the clutch is,
Yeah,
which is, yeah, the first time I have seen anything like that.
pretty
It
cool.
I think it might have been somewhere already, but definitely not from coming from like a brand like this.
Yeah.
Same goes for me for the brake pedal, where you have multiple adjustments on the preload, so you can actually make the feeling more detailed the way you want it.
Yeah, that seemed pretty cool. Yeah, they did a good job. It was like it was a nice. They put some effort into that for sure. Pretty cool stuff. And then the only other thing that I saw that was pretty cool, and I wouldn't say it's more of you need to experience it, is more of the motion systems, right? And I'd say even further, like the traction loss and sway that are coming from Advanced Sim Racing and Vero, they look pretty sweet. Uh, I think the ability to feel that.
There are multiple problems with it. It's not just money, it's also having the place to actually put it somewhere, and yeah, everything that goes with it.
Well, and to some people's disadvantage too, like if you're living in an apartment, kind of hard to put emotion in, like get its full experience. So I think it is for select few or select rigs. You have to have the base and ability not to, make your neighbors mad. But I think just the fact that it's here and like you can kind of start to get it at a consumer level, it's pretty cool. Yeah, well,
I
you're
know.
gonna have to
I
get to the
think,
next Sim Racing Expo out in Europe, and I'll see if I can get to the one here in North America. We'll check them out.
honestly, I was planning to go this year as well, but sadly, there were some other things I had planned for this weekend, so
Well,
yeah,
that's
I
fair.
wasn't really able to.
Well,
But yeah,
and there's
I
only
also
two other things that we saw out there. We're in Assetto Evo maps. Did you see that?
yeah, of course I did. I have had Esto Eva for, well, almost since the release. I'm a big fan. So yeah, I was waiting for all the news from that game, and I'm happy we actually got some. Even though I am a bit worried for the other Assetto Corsa game we'll mention very soon. But yeah, that's the only thing that's actually worrying me a bit now.
It's cool to see the ring, and I'll give on. I'll be frank, the Road Atlanta was a nice touch. I like that. That's a good. That's a good course. So
It
I'll
was
be
a
eager to
good
check that
timing
out.
for it as well with
Yeah.
Petit Le Mans.
And I think you're right. Assetto Corsa Rally is going to be an interesting one. It looked well received. It looked pretty good, but we'll see once it gets out there.
Also, apparently, it's supposed to have laser scan stages, which is actually amazing thing for a rally game.
That is wild, especially like nowadays. Like I think rally community really needs this game. Like they've been looking
Yeah, they
for something
really
crazy.
do need something new after Richard Burns Rally, which is, yeah, I don't know how old it is now, but it's the only, like, if you want a real rally game, that's the only choice you have.
Yeah, and I think like EA WRC was like people were really hoping and it was kind of there, but I think people are really looking for like that straight up simulator. So I think you're right. gonna
Yeah,
be the
like
only thing
with
that
this,
they're.
I'll be honest, I played both the VRC, the newest one, and the Dirt Rally 2.0, which is an older title now. And every time I actually wanted to drive a rally, I would still choose the older Dirt Rally because it had just way better physics than the VRC game, even though it was a bit worse on the asphalt, on the tarmac. In the Dirt Rally 2.0, the overall like rally driving was just way better in that game. Yeah, I'll just say, as I mentioned before, the only thing that worries me a bit is that Assetto Corsa is now making basically two games at the same time. I
Good
know
point.
it's not directly the same people or everything the same. It's mostly just the branding and so on. But I'm still worried that hopefully they won't make sacrifices on one of them to make the other one work, because
Yeah,
that would be very sad to see.
yeah. We will see. We'll see. Only time will tell. But I want to get an Evo and try and drive the ring.
Yeah, I will definitely do that as well. So